Do you also feel like English words reach your throat but don't come out of your mouth?
Yeah, that feeling. It's suffocating, right?
I stood in that darkness for years, memorizing thick books and grammar rules, but the result was zero.
I think everyone has been there.
I thought my brain wasn't made for this, that something was broken inside me.
Really?
Then I realized the problem wasn't me, but the key I was using.
Oh, what do you mean?
See, this locked brain you see on the thumbnail, that is us.
Yeah, exactly.
We are hitting the wrong lock over and over again, hoping something changes.
So, what changed for you?
I threw those old methods in the trash and found a master key that turns English learning from a burden into an exciting video game.
No boredom, no rote learning, just levels?
Exactly. Just levels. Pure progression. Pure momentum.
That sounds incredible.
My brain unlocked in days. Genuinely in days. And today, I will take you inside my mind.
Listen, I'm ready.
I will show you that secret method that changed my life. And today, it's your turn.
Okay, let's do this.
Right. So before we enter the master levels, you need to understand something fundamental about how your brain actually works.
Tell us.
Your brain is not a filing cabinet where you store words and pull them out on demand.
Come on. Really?
It's a pattern recognition machine that learns through immersion, repetition, and emotional connection.
That changes everything.
Well, most people ignore this and attack English like it's an enemy that needs to be conquered.
I mean, isn't that what school taught us?
Exactly. School trained us to memorize and regurgitate, not to absorb and communicate.
So the problem is deeper than just vocabulary?
It's about the entire approach, the entire philosophy of how you relate to language itself.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
You know, most people see English as a set of rules, but it's actually alive. It's a living organism.
Seriously?
And organisms don't live by rules. They flow, they adapt, they survive through intuition.
So we need to feel English, not study it?
Yes, feel it in your bones, in your daily rhythm, woven into your life like breathing.
That's a total shift in mindset.
Now, let me introduce you to the 5 master levels that will transform you.
Right. The 5 levels?
These aren't courses or programs you check off a list.
What are they then?
They're stages of evolution, like watching a seed become a forest.
Okay, I'm listening.
Level 1 is called the bird's flight, and it's about the observation rule.
The observation rule?
Look, before a baby bird leaves the nest, it watches its parents fly every single day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't try to fly immediately, it observes, it calculates, it absorbs the patterns.
So what does this mean for English?
You must become that baby bird, watching native speakers through podcasts, YouTube, movies, anything real and natural.
Immersion?
Not just immersion, but intelligent observation. Absorb while doing daily tasks.
What kind of daily tasks?
Think about it. Watering plants, washing dishes, commuting to work.
Wait, you're saying listen to English podcasts while living your life?
Exactly. Let the language soak into your subconscious while your hands are busy.
That doesn't sound like studying at all.
That's the beauty of it. Your conscious mind stops fighting, and learning becomes invisible.
Come on, does that really work?
Your brain is desperate to find patterns, and when you remove the pressure, it hunts for them naturally.
So in level 1, we're just listening?
You're listening with attention, with curiosity, with the intent to notice, not to memorize.
Right. Notice the music of the language?
Yes, the rhythm, the intonation, the way words dance together in real conversations.
Okay, I feel that.
Now, level 2 is called the tree roots. And this is where magic happens in silence.
Silence?
For the first 10 days of your journey, nothing seems to happen on the surface.
Really? Nothing?
Absolutely nothing. No breakthrough moments, no sudden fluency, just quiet growth.
That sounds discouraging.
But underground, in the darkness, roots are forming, spreading, getting stronger every single day.
So the growth is invisible?
Yes, your brain is mapping neural pathways that you cannot see or feel, but they're multiplying.
How long does this phase last?
Well, some people experience it for 10 days, some for 3 weeks, but it will pass.
What breaks us through?
Consistent daily gaming with English. Just 15 minutes of actual engagement.
15 minutes?
Not 8 hours like you think you need. 15 minutes of pure, focused, joyful interaction.
Seriously? That's enough?
Your brain doesn't work on quantity. It works on consistency and emotional intensity.
So every single day, 15 minutes?
Every single day without fail. Like watering a plant. Miss one day, and you're okay. But skip a week, and you're back at the start.
I mean, that's actually doable.
Most people fail because they expect overnight results, then quit in the darkness of the tree roots phase.
But if you stay?
You emerge from that darkness with abilities you didn't have before, abilities that feel natural because you didn't force them.
Okay, tell us about level 3.
Level 3 is flowing water, and this is about flow instead of perfection. Flow? A river doesn't stop when it hits a rock. It flows around it, over it, through it.
You're saying don't stop at mistakes?
Never stop for grammar, never pause to correct yourself mid-sentence when you're speaking.
Wait, that feels wrong.
Right, your old education made you afraid of mistakes, but mistakes are fuel for your brain.
Yeah, but won't people judge me?
Listen, real native speakers make mistakes constantly. They just don't care. They keep flowing.
So the goal is communication, not perfection?
Always communication, because perfection is a prison that keeps you silent.
That's powerful.
Think about this. A native 5-year-old child makes grammar errors all the time, but they speak with zero fear.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You're trying to speak like a textbook. Your goal should be to speak like that child.
All right, so when I'm speaking English and I mess up the verb tense?
You keep flowing. You don't acknowledge it. You don't apologize. You just move forward in the conversation.
And eventually you get better?
Yes, because your brain learns from flow, from attempt, from real communication, not from correction.
Okay, what about level 4?
Level 4 is the lion's roar, and it's about your confidence instinct.
Come on, confidence instinct?
Look, a lion doesn't check its pitch before roaring. It doesn't worry if the roar sounds perfect.
Really? It just roars?
It owns the moment completely, and the sound that comes out is automatically powerful.
How does this apply to English?
Your English is your slave, not your master. You own it. You control it. You make it serve your message.
Seriously?
Speak with power, even if you're wrong, especially if you're wrong.
Wait, even if I'm wrong?
Yes, because in real conversations, people respect confidence and presence more than perfect accuracy.
I mean, that's the opposite of what I learned.
That's because your education was designed for tests, not for real human connection.
So I need to shift my internal reference point?
Completely. Instead of asking, am I correct? Ask, am I clear? Am I communicating?
Yeah, that's a different energy entirely.
When you own your message, your accent becomes irrelevant. Your occasional mistakes become invisible.
The presence overshadows the imperfection?
Exactly. People remember how you made them feel, not whether you said has gone instead of went.
Wow. Okay, last level?
Level 5 is night stars, and it's about pattern recognition in a sea of infinite data.
That sounds complex.
No, it's actually the simplest level once you understand the principle.
Tell us.
We don't need to know every star in the sky to navigate at night. We focus on constellations.
Constellations?
The clusters that matter. The patterns that guide us toward our destination.
So in English, what are the constellations?
They're the 500 words that actually matter to your life. Not every word in the dictionary.
Really? Just 500?
90% of all human communication happens with roughly 500 to 1,000 common words.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Your brain knows this instinctively, and when you stop trying to memorize 10,000 words, it relaxes and learns faster.
So focus on the useful words?
Like a predator focusing on prey. You're not trying to eat everything in the savannah, just what sustains you.
Right. Efficiency.
You identify your personal constellation based on your life, your goals, your desires.
How do I do that?
Well, you track your real conversations, your professional needs, your passions, and you build your 500-word universe around those.
Okay, this is starting to make sense.
These 5 levels aren't sequential. They're all happening at once, layering on top of each other.
So I'm in bird's flight, tree roots, flowing water, lion's roar, and night stars simultaneously?
Yes, because your brain doesn't learn in isolation. It learns through a symphony of approaches.
All right, so how do I actually implement this?
First, try this now. Pick one podcast that genuinely interests you.
Right now?
Not something designed for English learners. Something made for native speakers about a topic you love.
Why not learner content?
Because learner content is stripped of emotion, stripped of authenticity, and your brain knows it's fake.
So I need real content?
Real conversations between real people about real things. That's where your brain actually learns.
Okay, I'll do that.
Then commit 15 minutes every day for 30 days without expecting anything.
30 days?
Think with us here. 30 days is enough for your brain to establish a new neural pathway.
And then?
Then you'll notice something. A word you didn't expect to understand will suddenly be clear.
And that's the breakthrough?
That's when the tree roots reach the surface, when invisible growth becomes visible.
What should I be doing during those 15 minutes?
Feel this. Listen without subtitles, without a dictionary, without any safety net.
Wait, that sounds terrifying.
It is, but that's exactly when your brain activates its deepest learning mode.
Come on, how is confusion helpful?
Because confusion is your brain saying, I need to figure this out. And that's when neural connections form.
Really?
You're not trying to understand every word. You're trying to capture the overall meaning, the emotion, the direction.
Yeah. Okay.
As weeks pass and you stay in this practice, something shifts. Words start arriving in your mouth naturally.
Seriously? Just from listening?
Your brain has been recording everything, analyzing everything, and suddenly it has enough data to start predicting and producing.
That's when I start speaking?
You can start speaking anytime, but your speaking will improve dramatically after you've done this listening work.
All right. What if I mess up when I start speaking?
Remember level 3. You flow. You don't stop. You keep the river moving.
Right. No perfectionism.
Your conversation partner probably won't even notice most of your mistakes, because they're focused on your message, not your grammar.
That's liberating.
So many people are paralyzed by the fear of being wrong, and that's the only thing that actually prevents them from learning.
Oh, so fear is the real enemy?
Fear is the enemy, perfectionism is the sabotage, and silence is the grave.
Wow.
Now, I want you to understand why this approach works when nothing else has.
Why?
Because it respects how your brain actually evolved, not how education systems think it should work.
What's the difference?
Your brain evolved to learn through immersion, through listening, through pattern recognition, through emotional connection.
And school?
School tried to accelerate that process by breaking it into artificial rules and exercises.
Yeah, I felt that.
But your brain is lazy, in a good way. It resists artificial methods and thrives on authentic engagement.
So the game isn't really about gamification points and levels?
No, the game is real engagement, turning learning into something you want to do instead of something you have to do.
That's the actual transformation.
Listen, some people will tell you that you need to study grammar, that you need structured lessons, that you need corrections.
Are they wrong?
They're not wrong, they're just inefficient, and they ignore the emotional component.
The emotional component?
Right. Learning a language is learning a new way to express your soul, your personality, your unique self.
Oh, that's deep.
When you learn through authentic material, you're absorbing not just words, but the culture, the humor, the nuance of how people actually communicate.
So I become more than fluent?
You become fluent plus something else. You become able to understand the human beneath the words.
Okay, what's the hardest part of this journey?
Well, the hardest part is the commitment. When you're in the tree roots phase, when nothing is happening.
Yeah, I can see myself quitting there.
Most people do. They give up at day 9 when breakthrough is at day 11.
Seriously?
They quit in the darkness, never knowing that sunrise was just around the corner.
How do I stay committed?
You stay committed by remembering why you started, by connecting English to something you genuinely care about.
Like what?
Maybe there's a person you want to talk to, a career you want to pursue, a dream you want to chase.
And English is the key to that dream?
English is the tool, yes, but the dream is the fuel that keeps you moving.
All right, so I need to be honest about my real motivation?
Completely honest. If you're learning English just because you think you should, you'll fail.
But if I'm learning it for something I love?
Then your brain becomes an ally instead of an opponent, and consistency becomes effortless.
I mean, that makes sense.
So before you start, sit with yourself and ask what you truly want English to unlock.
That's powerful.
There's someone you want to communicate with, or a goal that requires English fluency, or a version of yourself you want to become.
What happens after I get fluent?
That's when the real adventure begins. Because now English isn't the destination, it's the vehicle.
The vehicle to what?
To ideas you couldn't access before, to people you couldn't reach before, to parts of yourself you couldn't express before.
That's incredible.
So let me be clear about what you're not doing anymore, starting now.
Okay.
You're not memorizing lists of words with no context.
Yeah, done with that.
You're not taking grammar tests that crush your spirit.
Never again.
You're not speaking to teachers who grade you instead of conversing with you naturally.
Right. That's actually traumatizing.
And you're not waiting for permission to speak, waiting until you're ready, waiting until you're perfect.
Come on, you're saying start immediately?
Start now, in this moment. You can begin by finding one authentic English resource.
Right now?
Yes, Right now, pause this video if you need to. Find something that makes you curious.
And then what?
Listen for 15 minutes. Feel the rhythm. Feel the resistance. Feel the excitement. And commit to tomorrow.
And then the next day?
Same thing. 30 days of this and your life changes.
Seriously?
Seriously. Because you're finally working with your brain instead of against it.
Wow, that's the shift.
See, most educational systems are fighting your brain, trying to force it into shapes it doesn't want to take.
But this approach?
This approach is surrender. It's permission. It's trust in the process that made you native in your own language.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
As a child, you didn't study your native language. You learned it through immersion, through listening, through play.
And that process still works?
It never stopped working. Schools just tried to improve on it and made it worse.
So what's the takeaway?
The takeaway is that you're not broken. Your brain isn't inadequate. Your approach was just misaligned.
And now?
Now you have a map. You have a method. You have 5 levels of evolution waiting for you.
And all I have to do is show up?
You have to show up with curiosity, with willingness, with the understanding that this is the beginning of something real.
All right, I'm ready.
Wait, before you go, I want you to think about one thing. Where will you be in 6 months if you commit to this, if you let yourself flow, if you embrace the levels?
I'll be fluent?
You'll be fluent, confident, and you'll be able to express every part of yourself in a new language.
That's life-changing.
It is absolutely life-changing. And it starts with one moment of decision.
This moment?
This moment right now, where you decide that the old ways are behind you.
Yeah, I feel that.
And the new way is ahead. The way of observation, growth, flow, confidence, and pattern recognition.
The master key?
The master key. The one that unlocks not just English, but a whole new dimension of who you are.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's do this. Together. Starting right now. In this moment. With this decision.
I'm in.
Then go find that podcast. Listen with your whole being. And come back in 30 days transformed.
I will.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. And remember, English isn't the language of a distant country anymore.
What do you mean?
It's the language of your future. The language of your dreams. The language that's waiting inside you.
And we all have it?
We all have it. We just needed the right method, the right mindset, and the right permission to let it bloom.
That's beautiful.
So go, unlock yourself, embrace the 5 levels, and become the fluent, confident communicator you've always wanted to be.
Starting now.
Starting now.